Take this moment to become still, relaxing yourself by taking deep, cleansing breath. Realizing that every breath you take is the activity of God active in you. As you are breathing in and out, allow the healing power of God to be in effect. Each breath is God's life. Each breath, you are now experiencing God's health. With each breath, you are experiencing God's presence. With each breath, I now experience God's love. Because as God's love is unconditional, each breath is just as unconditional. Doesn't matter what conditions are on the outside, I still have breath. Regardless what the circumstances may be, the breath of life is still there. Regardless of the finances, the breath is still there. So no matter what the condition or the circumstance may be, I recognize the activity of God. And as I recognize the activity of God, I grow and I expand. As I recognize the activity of God, I express unconditional love wherever I am, whatever I am doing. And as I am a radiating center of love, that love goes out from where I am to my surroundings, out to my city, and out into the world. Where I know that I am the light. And this light is not hid under a bushel. This light radiates in my life, in my world, and in my affairs. And for this consciousness, I am so very grateful. And it is in this consciousness that we seal this time of prayer in the name and through the power that is in the name of our master teacher, our elder brother, Jesus Christ. Amen. And so it is. Our thoughts, our prayers. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer. Thank you, Annie. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to continue this series, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. And I have to emphasize that spiritual laws of prosperity, because a lot of times when we deal with this idea of this concept of prosperity, we always think about the outer. But in order to get the prosperity on the outer or on the outside, there are some things that we have to do from a spiritual perspective. And we're using the Edwin Gaines book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. If you have this, I highly recommend that you dust it off, bring it down off the shelf, and reread it again, because it does make a difference, doesn't it, Dee?
Yes, it does.
You see, we can have all the books on the shelves, but it's when the books come off the shelf and become part of our life that the book has true meaning, or has its best meaning. So with there being 4 spiritual laws of prosperity, and today we're working with the second law, I have to ask the question, if we're working with the second law, what is the first?
Tithing.
Tithing. Good. What did you learn about tithing last week?
That it's a definite amount.
It's a definite amount. Okay, what else?
You have to tithe out of your gross, not your net.
Good one. Out of your gross, not your net. Because see, somebody asked one time, well, Reb, do I tithe on the gross or do I tithe on the net? My answer was simply this: what type of blessing do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a gross blessing or do you want a net blessing? Hello, somebody.
Hello.
All right.
And you tithe to whoever you get spiritual enlightenment.
Wherever you receive spiritual food. And what is spiritual food? Bread?
Manna. That's not what it really was.
No. Because it was a direct quote from the text.
Your spiritual life.
Spiritual food is that which teaches and reminds you of who and what you are.
Okay.
So when you are getting spiritual food, you are being reminded of who and what you are. So whenever somebody is telling you that there's a disaster going on, is that spiritual food?
No.
Uh-oh. Whenever they start talking about what the latest disease is that spiritual food? No. Now, I'm not saying, I have to give a disclaimer here, I'm not saying that you do not contribute to some of those places or some of those organizations. The spiritual law is that your tithe dollars go to where you are receiving spiritual food. So tithing is the first law. Goal setting is the second spiritual law of prosperity. So we're going to deal with this idea of goal setting today. And there's a lot that we have to look at spiritually from this concept of this idea of goal setting. First of all, I want to look at what prosperity is, or what prosperity means to you. You find in the book these words, that prosperity is a vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the unique spiritual being that you are. Prosperity is relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and work all the time. But you see, one of these relationships that we have to look at is that a lot of people say, well, when it comes to a relationship, ooh, that's my special person. The one who I'm going to be getting flowers for on Valentine's Day. But you see, there are some other relationships that have to be satisfying. There are some other relationships that have to be nurturing. The relationship you have with your money.
Oh, yes.
The relationship you have with your body.
Very yes.
The relationship you have, watch this, with the food you eat.
Yes.
You see, those are all relationships as well. When we're talking about prosperity, it is work that you love so much that it's not work, it's play. Yes, there is a lot of intense work that goes on putting a Sunday message together, but you know what? I enjoy it. This is fun to me. Prosperity is also all the money, substance I can spend. So if we're going to have these four things, if we're going to have that, and that's what prosperity is, how do we get it? And how do we work with it? The second law is goal settings. And it says, why is it good to have goals? Because it is necessary to have desires. That's what a goal is. It is a desire. And Charles Fillmore states that desire is, write this down. This is a good one here. The onward impulse of the ever-evolving soul. It is the onward impulse of the ever-evolving soul. If the soul is not evolving, there is no impulse. Because there is something in you that is always striving, that is always hungry to do a little bit more, to do something more and greater than what you are right now. And if you are not growing, you are dying. I don't know about you, but I choose to grow. That's where I am. And there is a desire that is in me, that is burning so greatly, that this message made me do a 180 on my goal setting.
Really?
Yes. And I will share it with you. See, goal setting is a wonderful, fun, and a creative part of the prosperity process. And this is where you get to ask God for exactly what it is that you want. And that's where it made a difference to me this time. Because if you remember, we've gone through this class before. We've done this. However, this time, those words jumped off the page at me and said, this is where you get to ask for exactly what you want. You see, James, the 4th chapter, 1st through the 3rd verse, 1st through the 3rd verse, says this, ye have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. You see, some people say, well, how come things aren't working out for me in my life? Well, this here right says right now, it says it's not working out in your life. You don't have it because you haven't asked for it. I want you to know that there is a difference in asking and begging. See, some people get to begging for stuff. They don't know how to ask for it. That's why it says, and when you do ask, because you ask amiss, you don't know how to ask. That's the reason some people don't have the things that they want in life, the things that they desire in life, because they don't know or have the specific tools of asking. Now, I love this scripture, and it shows something, a very, very key part, a very, very key thing in this goal setting process. It says, first of all, ask and it shall be given unto you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. This is your process. When I say you don't know how to ask, this is it. You got to seek. You got to knock. But it all boils down to this. If you write all of this out, ask, seek, knock, it just says that you have to ask.
Yeah. How in?
I'm like, this is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It all boils down back to the same thing. Learning how to ask. For everyone that asks receives. For everyone that seeks finds. And for everyone that knocks, it shall be open unto you. It is going to happen. It works if you work it. But the reason it's not working for some people, it has nothing at all whatsoever to do with the formula. It's what I like to call operator error. Robbie, that's kind of what you and I were talking about this morning. You see, there are some things that Robbie and I have been talking about that we want the MeVo camera to do during service and virtual audience. Soon as Robbie and I get all of this, the tweets and everything worked out, there's going to be, you all are going to get an experience that is like mwah, out of this world. But there is nothing wrong that Robbie and I can find with the software, with the program. It's operating. We trying to learn. So there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
You see, there's nothing wrong with the formulas of the spiritual laws of prosperity. It's just we got to learn them and work them. Because when you do it, it's going to happen and you will experience it in your life, in your world, and in your affairs. Now, Edwin gives us a very, very clear program for setting goals. And I like doing this individually. I want us to grow to the point where we can do this collectively as a congregation. Because I see how this works. And I experience how things have been working in my life by using this program. The first thing that she says to do is in a notebook dedicated to your goal setting program. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's right. That makes so much sense. Excuse me, I forgot I was preaching. In a notebook dedicated to your goal setting program, which means that your goal setting program, you must have something that is set aside that is specifically just for this. That's what dedicated means.
I knew I bought 5 new notebooks
For a reason. Good, good, good. This box right here has one purpose. This is dedicated, which means this box has no other function but to put the prayer request in. Its function is not to be a planter. You see, for your goal setting program, there must be something dedicated, which means it has no other function. That's the only thing you do with it. That's the only thing that is. But in this folder that you have dedicated, you don't put the bills in it. You don't put the grocery list. Don't put anything else in it. That's all it's there for. Write down all your desires, no matter how big, no matter how small, whatever it is. I started that, and I kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. I'm like, oh, there's so much that I want, and I'm finding other things that I wanted, and I'm writing those things down. It was actually typing. But the list just kept getting longer, 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 longer. But then I looked at number 2. Thankfully, now had I looked at number 2 earlier, it would have saved me on some time. Number 2 says, choose your most important desires and line them in order of their importance. You see, there are some things that I want in life that are more important than others. Okay? One of my desires is to clean out the drawer where I have my socks. I need to do that, because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but my dryer eats socks. I don't know what happens, but I put 2 in and only 1 comes out. I don't know what it is, but I think that 1 sock that doesn't come out turns into a Tupperware lid. Because you get all these Tupperware lids that don't fit stuff. I'm thinking, okay, that must be where it goes. So, as I'm making out this list of all the things that I want and all the things that I desire, where does cleaning out my sock drawer fall on that list? This is the one that gives people the biggest challenge. Number 3, consider what changes you might need to make in order to achieve your goals. You see, sometimes our goal is to be financially free, or sometimes the goal may be to be debt-free. Sometimes the goal may be to buy a new car, to get a new house. Okay. But what are some things that you have to do in order to achieve that goal. For that sock drawer to get cleaned out, the change that has to take place, what do I have to do? Probably not watch television one night.
Or sort the socks while you're watching television.
But it's the drawer, so that means I gotta pull the drawer out and
I
then
know,
I'll
it's
sit.
been-
Well, it's so much. But see, there's something that I have to do. You see, sometimes what we want to do in order for a goal or for us to achieve something, we want something outside of us to change. We want them to do something different. Or as soon as the price goes down, I'll get it. But what are some changes you have to make? You have to look at if there's something that I want to do, is there something new I have to learn? Is there something that I'm doing that I need to change or that I need to alter? See, this is all about what you're doing when you're setting your goals. Number 4, choose the date by which you want to achieve this goal. Okay, you all are going to keep me accountable, all right? Because you're going to write it down, and somebody is going to ask me about this, and I need to be able to give you a definite answer. Today's date is what? February 9th. Okay, I'm making a commitment. March 1st. That sock drawer will be in order.
You're gonna come and check it.
Exactly. You see, you got to set a date. Okay, which means you got to figure out how long are you, what speed are you willing to work at in order to get something done. Okay? Set your date so that it's measurable. So that when it's getting close to that date, you say, oh, you know what, wait a minute. I got to make sure that this is done because I made the commitment. You got to choose a date.
I will match that too, because
Okay.
I have a half a bin of single socks that I have to go through and find her.
And find the mates too. Good. You see, this is part of goal setting. Okay, to see what it is that you need to do. Where is it you want to go? What is it that you want to achieve? And then read this list of goals at least 3 times every day. Read it in the morning. Read it in the afternoon. Read it at night. Number 6, imagine yourself achieving that goal. Begin to think, what would it feel like sitting in the seat of a brand new Rolls Royce? Because I'm going to tell you, the leather in a Rolls Royce is different than the leather in a Buick. Mm-hmm. How would it feel? Okay, I'm getting personal, y'all. How would it feel speaking in a 500-seat auditorium? These are my goals. Imagine with the seats filled. Thank you. Act as if you've already achieved your goal. Act as if you've already achieved your goal. There was a student who said, Rev, I need to register for class. And I want to get in. Here's my registration fee. Here's my registration money. But I've missed the first couple classes. I said, no problem. I'll go back and do a review with you on that class. She said, but it's just one student. I said, it don't matter to me. I will teach to 2 the same way I will to 200. Act as if it's already done. How would you feel if you had $2 million cash in your purse right now? Be careful. Because somebody's going to say, oh no, I'm not going to carry that much cash around with me. Oh no, I don't want to have that much cash. That's why you ain't got it. Because you're too scared to have money. A good friend of mine taught me one time. She said, if the purse costs $500, you have to be able to pull $500 out of that purse at any given time. Be it cash, credit card, or whatever. So start acting, start behaving, start walking like you already got it. In our goal setting program number 8, don't tell everybody what your goal is. Be careful. Choose who you talk to. Because your goal is not what everybody else wants. This is your goal. This is something betwixt you and God. You see, if you got to go for a brand new car, if you got to go for a new house, somebody else's goal may be to stay in the shack that they in. And they will try to talk you out of it and give you every good reason why you should not move. Be careful who you talk to. Keep your goals private. This is stuff between you and God. Now, as you achieve something, start crossing them off. It's real simple. Start crossing them off. Once you get one thing, cross that one off. The reason I tell you, the reason she tells you to do this is because you got to make room for more to get on the list.
Yes.
So as you achieve something, cross it off. If you need to, do like Annie does. Start a new list. Number 10. Remember, God's highest law is love. To love or to express love all through this process, all through this program. The next thing that we find in goal setting is it's about having directed faith. And when it says what we are really doing when we are setting goals is directing our faith. Now here's what it means. Having directed faith means, get this down, write it down, something. If you need to, go back and rewatch the replay because I'm checking for the numbers to see how many times the service gets watched.
Well, you can also pause it, right?
Having directed faith means having a heartfelt, specific desire. Having a heartfelt, specific desire, but get this, it is coupled with a deep and abiding trust in the goodness and generosity of God. And therein lies the magic power of setting your goals. Directing your faith. It's having a heartfelt, specific desire. When we're talking about having a heartfelt, specific desire, directed faith is not, get this, vague, hazy, or wishful yearning? Directed faith is not vague. Remember the scripture we read earlier? You have not, for you, because you ask not, and when you do ask, you ask amiss. This is what it's talking about. We're not specific. We're kind of vague. Well, yeah, I want that. Or, yeah, it would be nice, to have that. It is a powerful belief in expectancy. That's what having directed faith is, where you're finally focusing in on something. Because what we do a lot of times is we have all of these ideas floating around. Direct that faith into one specific thing. Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. He did not say, make me guess. There are some essential elements of goal setting that I want to share with you. That's going to make a very, very big difference. Now, I witnessed it. This section of the message is where I had a major shift in setting goals. The first thing you want to do is cast aside your limitations. One of the main reasons, Edwin says, people don't reach for their goals is that they believe there is something about themselves that will prevent them from getting whatever it is they really want in their deepest of hearts. She said, perhaps you think you're too old to have all the things you really want, or too young. You're too heavy, or too skinny. A woman, or you're of a minority group. Too tired, too broke, married to the wrong person, or not married at all. She says, but these statements are all lame cop-outs. You have to really ask yourself, who are you? Whatever is holding you back, and only you have an idea or know what's holding you back. So it's about learning what those limitations are and then cast them aside. Next, open yourself to the possibilities. Open yourself up to the possibilities. In opening, yourself up to the possibilities, what we are doing here is saying that there is something more than what I'm experiencing right now, and then getting in the position in order to receive it. The good is there for us, but we haven't opened ourselves up to the greater, because what we got right now is good and it's working. It's fine. And because I see this, I'm content. I'm satisfied. There's more to it. Being specific is crucial. Now, this was where it really got real for me. Being specific is crucial. Being specific has nothing to do with God. Being specific about your goal has all to do with you. Because you see, the universal mind, the oneness of God, has any and everything you could ever want or desire. But as long as you are not specific and you're like, well, I'll just had that, whatever it is. Go to a restaurant and ask the waiter or the waitress, oh, just bring me something. What's going to happen? They're going to bring you what they want or what they like. Because if I left it up to someone else to bring me something to eat, they might bring me liver and onions. I don't like liver and onions. I don't want it. It's not for me. But you love it, yes. So you would love it. But you got to be specific. In other words, when you get definite about your good will get definite about you. Because what you are doing is you're saying, you know what? I've made up my mind. I've made a decision. That's what being specific does. It focuses you so that you don't say, well, this is over there. Oh, but what about that? Oh, but then this is available. Oh, look at over there. When we're not specific about our goals and when we're not specific about where we want to go in life, you just might as well be squirrel. It centers you. It grounds you. In order to reach your goal, a key element is letting go of self-judgment. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. When I say this section shifted for me, personal confession here, y'all. For a period of time, I started to think or began to question my abilities. I did. I questioned it. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I'm not saying it. Maybe I'm not getting it across the way it needs to be getting across. I began to have some doubt. You see, when we have self-judgment, one of the reasons that happens is because we are looking for someone else's approval. I just have to tell y'all that's over. I don't judge myself anymore. What I know, I know. And it works. So the self-judgment, the self-doubt, gone. That's what going through this time did for me. In setting your goals, where you want to go, what you want to do, cast aside the limitations, open yourself up to the possibilities because I'm a living witness. They are there. But if we close ourselves off to them, we will never, ever achieve what it is that we want. That's why you have to be specific. You get definite. Let go of any doubts, any self-judgment, and then, this is the biggest part of it all, be willing to move outside of your comfort zone. Setting goals is a great accomplishment, but actually, when it comes to it, taking steps towards your goal can be kind of scary. Because it requires you to do something different than what you have become accustomed to. Well, you know, I'm just used to doing it like this. This is the way I've always done it. This is the way mama did it. This is the way grandmama did it. This is the way great-grandmama did it. It's time to learn something new. Step outside of your comfort zone. Y'all, as technically knowledgeable as I am, which ain't much, I'm trying to work with AI. I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone. Board, I'm bringing you some information today about AI. Get ready. It's a learning curve that we got to go through. However, when we get on the other side of the learning curve, it's going to make your job so much easier. I'm looking at it like, oh, you mean it'll do this? But that's not what I'm used to. It's not what I'm accustomed to. But if it's going to make your job easier, I'm all gung-ho. And see, here's where going outside your comfort zone. It's only going to cost $8 a month. I mean, not what? Come on.
I'll pay it.
You see, in reaching our goals, knowing where we want to go, knowing what you want to do, being specific about it, it may mean stretching yourself a little bit further. Getting out of your comfort zone may mean, this for me, maybe not going to McDonald's on Thursday. What are you willing to cut out? The thing is, change, even when it's good for you, can be frightening. But Ron has a way to ease that discomfort of being frightened, of being scared. When you want to move forward and you're not quite sure, that's good right there, when you're not quite sure what to do next, when things are in an upheaval and it's not comfortable or doesn't feel good, this is how you get through it. God bless you. Next week, we'll get law number 3.
Hold on just a little while longer.
Yes, yes.
Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer, and everything will be all right.
Yes, yes.
Oh, pray on. Just a little while longer. Pray on. Just a little while longer. Pray on. Just a little while longer, and everything will be all right. Oh, fight on. Just a little while longer. Oh, fight on. Just a little while longer. Fight on. Just a little while longer, and everything will be all right. Yeah, hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. Hold on. Just a little while longer. And everything will be all right. And everything will be all right. And everything will be all right.